Title race? What title race? Hello guys, how are you getting on? My name is Aaron Kelly and welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Verdict. I hope you guys have had a good day and have enjoyed this weekend's Premier League fixtures. Before we get into anything, if you're not already subscribed to the Aaron Kelly channel, please do so. We're very close to 500 subscribers. We're going for 1,000 by the end of the year. So if you enjoy a bit of footy content, that's the first time I've ever said footy, hopefully it'll be the last time as well. Please do consider subscribing and share with your other friends that might not know about my channel who also like football. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. Now, obviously, as usual, we have the graphic up in front of us for the three boxes. I'm going to leave the green box until last this week, and you'll understand why when we get onto it. I'm going to start this week with the yellow box, and starting off with Jack Harrison and Leeds United. What a victory. I've just watched it. I've just finished the game at the London Stadium. What a game of football it was. West Ham United 2, Leeds United 3. A much needed win for Leeds United, who've been shown really relegation-esque form really for the entirety of the season so far, but particularly in the last couple of weeks. And Jack Harrison was absolutely at the centre of it. An unbelievable hat-trick. 3 really lovely goals as well, I think it's there to be said. West Ham twice had to come back from behind thanks to goals from Jared Bowen and Pablo Fornals, but it was a brilliantly worked goal to make it 3-2 with Harrison getting his hat-trick. Rafinha, of course, at the centre of it. And I do think, despite showing some patchy form and poor form so far this season, Leeds United, they're certainly not the team that they were last season. However, I do still believe that they will be well clear of relegation, particularly when you're looking at the relegation zone at the minute. You're looking at the likes of Newcastle, Watford, Burnley obviously haven't played in the last couple of weeks due to COVID outbreaks. Norwich as well, who we will talk about in this video obviously as well. Well, it's not particularly obvious, but we will talk about Norwich in this video as well. You know, all those clubs are well in and around it, and I just don't feel like Leeds, by the end of the season, will be anywhere near. I think they're 9 points clear of any sort of relegation trouble at the minute, and that is all good news for Marcelo Bielsa and his squad. A brilliant victory for them today. Stinker of the week then, and Rafa Benitez has finally lost his job. He gets the stinker this week after Everton's latest defeat, this time at the hands of Norwich City. A brilliant 2-1 victory for the Canaries at Carrow Road. And to be fair, I think a lot of people were saying going into this game that if Rafa doesn't get a win in this game, it could be curtains for him, which, you know, is questionable probably in a lot of people's eyes, because obviously there's been a big war of words between two big characters at the club, Luca Digne and of course the manager Rafa Benitez, resulting in Luca Digne leaving Everton for Aston Villa. He made his debut in their draw with Manchester United. But finally, the final straw has been broken in this defeat over Norwich City, the latest of many horrific defeats for Everton and horrific performances from Everton this season. And, you know, it didn't feel like this was going to be a marriage that was going to last too long anyway, considering Rafa Benitez's roots with Liverpool. Combine that with the fact that I don't think Everton fans really wanted him anyway, and it was always going to be a hard task for any manager coming in to replace Carlo Ancelotti. Kind of reminds me of when he took over at Chelsea. A lot of Chelsea fans were disappointed and annoyed even to see Rafa Benitez was the new Chelsea manager at the time. But what he had to his advantage there at the time, Rafa, was a good squad of players, and he ended up actually winning the Europa League for Chelsea, making it 2 European Cups in consecutive seasons. And that obviously eased the blow, but obviously, you know, as well, he didn't last past a season at Chelsea either. Obviously, he took over from Bobby Di Matteo. He was gone by the end of the season, having just won the Europa League. But he doesn't have that luxury at Everton, and he was never really going to win a trophy at Everton. Like, what is acceptable for Everton these days? Maybe challenging for the top 6, and they're absolutely nowhere near that. And the level of performance has just been really poor, and even when they have been winning games, the fans haven't been happy with the style of football that the team has been playing, considering the quality of attacking talent they have on the pitch, especially if you look at the likes of Damari Gray, Andros Townsend, who've both come in and really hit the ground running. But the football hasn't been good enough anyway, and obviously the results paired with that means that it is the end for Rafa Benitez at Everton. I'm sure a lot of Liverpool fans delighted in a way to see that it hasn't worked out, but obviously a lot of people will feel, the whole secret agent Rafa thing going around. All I'll say is he didn't look particularly distraught when Norwich City went 2-0 up, but I will give Norwich props. It was an unbelievable victory for them. Adam Ida with his first ever Premier League goal. I mean, what a moment for him. I think he's been doing really well with the Irish national team. Stephen Kenny has got him playing really well. Obviously not scoring the kind of goals Ireland are looking for, but the way he links to play, he's got pace, he's able to hold up the ball as well. And if he can just start adding those goals to his game, we could have a real proper player in our hands. But I was absolutely delighted to see Adam Idah get the goal. Obviously, Michael Keane had put Norwich in front with a comical own goal, really. And after a stunning Richarlison bicycle kick pretty much right at the start of the second half, I couldn't really have seen anything other than an Everton victory, or at least salvaging a draw at that point. And that probably just goes down to how poor Norwich have been this season as well. But I got to give props where it's due. Obviously, Norwich off the top of the top. Jesus, imagine that. Norwich off the bottom of the Premier League table. Obviously, Burnley have a couple of games in hand, as I mentioned already. But it'll be a big morale booster for Dean Smith and his side. Okay, I've left the green box to last because I'm giving it to Kevin De Bruyne. Manchester City 13 points clear after a 1-0 win over Chelsea. De Bruyne's goal was an absolute stunner, and he was by far the best player on the pitch, and it was further emphasis as to why he is one of the best in that position in world football. A world-class performance and a world-class goal from Kevin De Bruyne. So I just want to give Manchester City the credit they deserve after what was nothing short of a cowardly performance. I think Thomas Tuchel is certainly to blame for a lot of what went wrong for Chelsea yesterday. I think his selection was wrong. I think the approach to the game is wrong. It was very similar actually to the game that we played against Manchester City at Stamford Bridge back in like September, where Chelsea just sat 10 men behind the ball. Very different to how we played against them in the Champions League final, where we really fought fire with fire and obviously came out on top thanks to that Kai Havertz goal. But again, it was just so timid, and like Chelsea were just holding themselves back for some reason. Now, I know there may have been a little bit of tiredness in there. Obviously, Chelsea only played the other night against Tottenham in the Carabao Cup semi-final, and Manchester City had, I think, 8 days rest. They played in the FA Cup 8 days ago, last Friday, before the game against Chelsea at 12:30 on Saturday. But having said that, there's got to be a question on mentality. Like, I personally think the league has been long gone for weeks now. I think Manchester City would have to be something absolutely astronomical for them to bottle it, even going into this game. But I think what I was looking for more than anything was a good performance to be proud of as a fan, to look back on and say, geez, do you know what, we really did give everything to try and win that game against Manchester City. Because let's make no mistake, Chelsea were the team that needed to beat Manchester City to have any chance of catching them. But no, from minute one, it was let's sit behind the ball and let's just hope we can, see it out for a draw. Like, it was just so embarrassing. The front three may as well have not been on the pitch. Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech and Romelu Lukaku. I think if you are Thomas Tuchel at half-time and you decide to bring on Kai Havertz, Timo Werner and Mason Mount, I don't think any Chelsea fan would have been against that, because Pulisic just looked so weak, as he has done for quite a while now. Hakim Ziyech, so frustrating to watch. He just kept giving the bloody ball away. And Lukaku has the first touch of an absolute donkey. He really does. £100 million we spent on Romelu Lukaku, by the way. 100 million. And I'm not just going in extra on him because he, pretty much backstabbed the club to the media. This is obviously probably part of the reason, let's be honest. But so embarrassing. Kovacic and Kante, when they were passing the ball forward, it was just coming back to them because those three up front could not hold up the ball at all. I can't really blame any of the defence. I thought Malang Sarr did alright. He's been doing alright recently. Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta didn't look great, I will say that, and Alonso didn't look great. And really, a 1-0 scoreline flattered Chelsea massively. I think Man City, if they really wanted to, probably could have won that game by more. And I just find it incredible that a side that are so far clear in the league run more than you, show far more desire to win the game than you do when you're already 10 points behind them going into the game. Honestly, such a cowardly approach. And I love Thomas Tuchel. I hope Thomas Tuchel is let have the time and the resources he needs to build an empire at Chelsea Football Club, because I think the man absolutely deserves it, having done what he's done. But that doesn't mean we can't call him out when we see something that we feel, not quite okay with. And that was the general approach and the personnel he chose. Like, why wasn't Mason Mount brought on sooner? Why wasn't Mason Mount starting? I think Werner and Hudson-Odoi were good changes, but again, I don't think they were given enough time to really make an imprint on the game. What was it, 15 minutes they had? But if you had any further doubts that the title race being still alive or whatever, it's long gone. It's been gone for weeks. If we're being honest, Liverpool are the last hope now. Obviously, they beat Brentford to move up to second, and they have a game in hand. I think even if they win that, they're still like 7 or 8 points behind Manchester City. So it's in the bin. It's a top 4 fight now, lads. It doesn't get any easier for Chelsea either, because we've got Brighton coming up in the week, followed by Tottenham in the league next Sunday. And having beaten them twice in a row in the League Cup, I should be confident going into that game. But if we go into it with the same approach as we had against Manchester City, anything can happen, boys. Alright, lads, that's where I'm going to wrap up this episode of The Verdict. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you disagree with any of the boxes, I know I obviously leaned into talking about Chelsea a lot more towards the end there. But yeah, leave a like in the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new. And I will catch you later.